If you've ever ventured over to the Fox network, you've likely seen the face of Tucker Carlson. He was one of their most famous and controversial figures. Recent issues have taken him off the air. Keep watching to learn why Tucker Carlson is saying goodbye to Fox News. Tucker McNeil Carlson was born May 16, 1969. He's the oldest son of Lisa McNear and Dick Carlson. Media was in his blood. His father was the director of Voice of America and the president of the Corporation of Public Broadcasting. His parents divorced in 1976, and his father gained custody of him and his brother, Buckley. His father also had political ambitions, but unsuccessfully ran for San Diego mayor in 1984. Tucker was enrolled for a time at a Swedish boarding school, Collège de Le Mans, but he was kicked out. He went to St. George's School in Middletown, Rhode Island instead. He then graduated from Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut in 1991 with a bachelor's in history. He applied to the CIA but was denied. His father recommended he pursue journalism instead because, quote, they'll take anybody. Tucker began his career as a fact-checker for Policy Review and eventually a writer for the magazine Weekly Standard. He also contributed to journals such as Esquire and Talk. He first entered TV on CNN, co-hosting The Spin Room, and then became the host of CNN's public affairs show Crossfire in 2001. He hosted other shows on MSNBC and co-founded the Daily Caller site. His contract with CNN was canceled in 2004. His show on MSNBC, The Situation with Tucker Carlson, was also canceled on March 10, 2008. Tucker went to primetime on Fox after the 2016 election. After Tucker Carlson Tonight began airing, he overcame Sean Hannity as the network's most watched host. By 2022, his show averaged 3.32 million viewers and had the largest audience in cable news with the 25 to 54 age demographic. The lawsuit. Defamation is a legal term for when any individual or group unfairly damages the reputation of another individual or group. It's also known by slander or libel. It's a common type of lawsuit, but it doesn't always hold water in court. Having your feelings hurt won't get you a settlement. The intention of bringing this issue to court is proving intention. Did the accused purposefully make false and ruinous claims? That was the question posed against Fox News. The initial claim. Dominion Voting Systems sued the network for defamation for $1.6 billion. They claimed the network had harmed its business and reputation. Its news programs spread multiple false claims that the Dominion machines had rigged the 2020 election against Donald Trump. They also alleged that these claims were an attempt to win over viewers. The network's conservative audience wasn't pleased when Fox aired on election night that Joe Biden had won the state of Arizona. Two Fox executives responsible for airing the decision were fired 2 months later. There were several instances of Fox spreading false claims about the election being rigged by Dominion's voting systems. They included 20 episodes, including one from Tucker Carlson Tonight. Other Fox personalities involved in the suit included Maria Bartiromo, Jeanine Pirro, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, and former host Lou Dobbs. Tucker's role. Tucker repeatedly questioned Trump's attorney, Sidney Powell, but he told viewers on November 19, 2020 that she stopped contacting him when he kept asking. When the controversial claim that Joe Biden had won Arizona came out, Tucker worried that it would erode trust with Fox viewers and that they would go to other conservative news outlets. There were messages between him and his colleagues that suggested he didn't believe Dominion's voting systems were at fault. It's unsure what he believed. The issue was that he continued to tell everyone who watched him about the voter rigging. Fox fights back. Fox's attorneys objected to the amount of the lawsuit. They also claimed that the real cost of the trial would be First Amendment rights of freedom of speech and the press. Neither of these claims helped their case. They didn't have any supporting evidence proving that their employees or management didn't make defamatory claims about Dominion voting services. The settlement. The case was one of the most anticipated defamation trials in recent history. Opening arguments were prepared and jury selection had been completed. Fox made a last-minute settlement before trial began. They agreed to pay $787.5 million. The payout was a massive blow to the network, but certain professionals consider it a net positive. Professor and First Amendment expert Roy Gutterman says that a guilty verdict could have been more costly for Fox in terms of both money and reputation. Further litigation is also pending. Fox faces a second $2.7 billion defamation lawsuit from the election technology firm Smartmatic. It led to the cancellation of Lou Dobbs' program on the network. Dominion is also suing news networks OAN and Newsmax, as well as Trump allies Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and Mike Lindell. Tucker Carlson is leaving Fox. Tucker Carlson Tonight was one of the only shows not to drop viewership after the announcement of Biden's Arizona win. It was the most bankable of all of Fox's programs. Fox announced Tucker Carlson's departure from the network on April 24, 2023. They said in a statement they thank him for his service as a host and contributor. Tucker had given no prior indication that he was leaving the Friday before. The network was even running promos for his show the following Monday. Everything seemed to be going as normal until the sudden announcement. Why? Tucker was fired a week before the Dominion lawsuit was settled. He was one of the many network personalities expected to testify. If they had gotten out, it could have been a major blow to both him and the network. His private messages were part of the internal communications that would have been used as evidence if the case went to trial. He also claimed to passionately hate former President Trump, despite Fox cheering his rise to power. He even called Trump a demonic force during the January 6th march on the Capitol. Tucker was also wrapped up in another lawsuit at the same time. Abby Grossberg alleged sexist and anti-Semitic behavior while working on his show. That lawsuit has yet to be settled, but would also impact his and Fox's reputation. It wasn't just what Tucker said, but who he said it to that mattered. His communications about Fox management also had sway in the decision to let him go. He said the network's drop in viewer trust was their fault and referred to them with expletives in private correspondence. Tucker has always been a controversial figure. His views on women, race, and immigration have gotten him in hot water and nearly fired before. It took a combination of lawsuits and a secret correspondence to get rid of his show. He works from a remote studio in Maine and didn't immediately respond to comments on the request for his departure and hasn't yet. Even Donald Trump was shocked by the news. They never saw eye to eye, but he called Tucker a talented man and noted his high ratings. The 8 p.m. time slot Tucker has held on the network since April 2017 will be filled with, quote, rotating Fox News personalities until they can find a permanent host. Eroding Trust. The worst part of the whole situation, from the claims about voter fraud to the lawsuit, is that it did erode viewers' trust. 50% of Fox viewers said the revelations that came from the lawsuit didn't affect their belief that the election was stolen. 13% said they no longer believe it was. Fox chairman Rupert Murdoch said in a deposition that even many at the network didn't believe their own claims. 50% of Republicans watch Fox at least a few times a week, and 80 to 82% say they never get their news from CNN or MSNBC. Now it's time to hear from you. Were you surprised that Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox News? Let us know in the comments section below.